Words so sharp, they cut right through. Real talk for the soul's appeal. Prayers rise up the wounds they heal. Lift our voices to the sky. A righteous perspective high. On this path we won't back down. For the Father wears the crown. Each step brings another fight. Breaking chains, we're seeking light. Voice of power won't be tamed. With His love, we're never ashamed. Lift our voices to the sky. A righteous perspective high. On this path we won't back down. For the Father wears the crown. From the ashes we shall rise. Hope is found deep in our eyes. Every word a battle cry. With the Father none deny.
What's going on? Welcome back to ARP in the morning. I am your brother Wise. I appreciate you guys pulling up this morning. I hope all is well. Grace and peace to each and every one of you all out there. Shout out to all my ARP family members. I see y'all in the building. Shout out to all my blues. I see y'all in there. Thank you guys very much for pulling up this morning. I hope you guys are having a great start to the week. Today is the last day of the month. It's the last day of the month. The fiscal year is supposed to start tomorrow. I know there's this shutdown that could be looming, and y'all know why it's there. And we may discuss it, in the next day or so, but we will not talk about it today. But I appreciate you guys pulling up, man. I hope all is well with each and every one of you guys. And, we got a pretty good show today. Before I get started, as always, I want to make sure that I show some love to my folks in the chat. And I want to make sure I do that. And first things first, we'll read the first super chat. Shout out to my brother Malachi with the $5 super chat. Says, while I'm thinking about it, go check out Zoe Lee, a Chicago Flips Red activist. Also Darren Bailey for Illinois 2028. Shout out to you, Malachi. Be safe out there on the road, brother. Shout out to Lori Ottison. Appreciate you pulling up. Y'all make sure y'all follow her instructions. Y'all make sure, please sure to hit that daggone like button on your way in. If you haven't done so, hit that like button for me. What's up, JJ O'Hara? How you doing this morning? She's always asking, is there anything that she can pray for anyone out there, man? Y'all let JJ O'Hara know. Thank you very much. Just keep me in your prayers all the time. Just keep me lifted up. I appreciate that. Shout out to Marla. Shout out to my guy, Hunter. Always comes through with the Bible verse to kick things off. Says here, there is no fear in love, but perfect love drives out fear because fear has to do with punishment. The one who fears is not made perfect in love. 1 John chapter 4, verse 13. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Hunter. What's up, Marla? How you doing? Appreciate you pulling up. H and K's mom, appreciate you pulling up this morning. Thank you very much. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. What's up, Hadassah? How you doing? What's up, B? How you doing this morning, sister? What up, Ryan? Stegall? Georgia in the building. Shout out to you. What up, Zephyr K9? Diane Anderson. Appreciate you pulling up. Diley Alexandra Torres. Appreciate you pulling up. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. What up, Mama Sunflower Cottage? Little House in the Dale. Appreciate you pulling up. I love that name. It's long, but I like it. Little House in the Dale. What up, Sandra? How you doing today? What's going on? Appreciate you pulling up this morning. What's up, Larry Montgomery? We got Marcy Richards in the building. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. All right. What's up, Nelly? We got Leslie out of Northeast Ohio. Cameron Peterson in the building. Shout out to you. Appreciate you pulling up. Jennifer R. Nicholson. Appreciate you pulling up. Barb Blake. What up, Aon? What's up, Quincy James? What's up with you, brother? How's it going down there in TX? What up, Sugar Shane? How you doing, brother? Appreciate you pulling up this morning, as always. Angela Montgomery. What's going on? Yeah, you make sure you have a terrific Tuesday as well. Grand Rising to you. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. What up, Candace Hall? How you doing this morning? Appreciate you pulling up. Hope all is well out there in Cali. Appreciate you, appreciate you, appreciate you. All righty. I think I almost hit everybody, but I did miss LJ. So what's up, LJ? How you doing this morning? It's good to see you in the chat this morning. Hope all is well. Appreciate you pulling up. What's up, Melissa? How you doing? Aloha to you out there in Hawaii. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. Thank you very much. All righty. So as we sit right now, we have a little over 100 people in the chat. Please make sure that you all hit the like button. Actually, we got 91 on YouTube, 12 on X. Hit that like button for me if you haven't done so already. I'm not exactly sure what you can do on X, but hit that like button for me or something. Share the stream, share it on X. If you can't hit the like button, but I appreciate you guys pulling up this morning. Hope all is well. So before we get things started, I want to let you guys know that today's show is sponsored by, give me a second here, let me pull this up. Boom, there you have it. Sponsored by Chapter. If you or someone you love is on Medicare, this is urgent. The Department of Justice just filed a massive fraud complaint against 3 of the biggest Medicare brokers in America. They weren't helping seniors. They were steering them into bad plans just to line their pockets. Obviously, they were receiving kickbacks. That's why today I am recommending Chapter. Funded by families who lived through this scam, Chapter searches every plan nationwide to find the one that truly is right for you or your loved one. There's no kickbacks. There's no pressure. There's just honest help. And it's completely free. Doesn't cost you a dime. They've already saved the average senior over $1,000 a year. So if you or a loved one or someone you know is in need of a Medicare plan, please reach out to Chapter today. Call 504-506-0860. Call them today. That is 504-506-0860. Do not risk your health or your money. Call today. All right. Thank you guys very much. I appreciate that. And shout out to Chapter for supporting the channel. Definitely appreciate them. Appreciate them. So, yeah, we're going to get the show started. Hit the like button for me. Super chats, super thanks are greatly appreciated. They are definitely greatly appreciated. And I appreciate everybody that supports the channel. Thank you guys very much for everything that you do. Shout out to Gerard Caswell supporting the channel with the $5 super chat. Says, I trust in, rely on, and am confident in you, O Lord. I say, you are my God. My times are in your hands. Psalms chapter 56, verse 3 and 4. Love y'all, man. Appreciate you, Gerard. Thank you, brother. Appreciate that. Thank you for supporting the channel this morning. All right. So we're going to get the show started. Hit the like button for me. If you haven't done so already, hit that like button for me. And shout out to Deborah Carver with the $2 super sticker. Thank you very much for supporting the channel as well. I appreciate you. Thank you very much. So let's get the show started.
Nearly 4 years ago, Gracie Mansion became my home. Who would have thought that a kid from South Jamaica, Queens, growing up with learning disabilities, could one day become the mayor of the greatest city in the world. I cannot thank my mother enough for instilling in me the values she lived by. I hope every parent can use my life as an example for their child during challenging moments. Only in America can a story like this be told. Despite all we've achieved, I cannot continue my re-election campaign. The constant media speculation about my future and the campaign finance board's decision to withhold millions of dollars have undermined my ability to raise the funds needed for a serious campaign. I hope that over time, New Yorkers will see this city thrive under our leadership, and that policies we put in place should be continued and expanded. I hope you will see that despite the headlines and innuendo, I always put you before me, always.
All righty, we got to talk about it, man. So you heard that. The news out of New York City is Mayor Eric Adams has officially dropped out of the re-election race after weeks of rumors and denials. Adams confirmed in a video statement that's mounting media pressure, frozen campaign funds, and political headwinds made his campaign impossible to sustain. His exit just 5 weeks before the election, it just blows the race wide open at this point. Adams had been polling in single digits, but his departure reshuffles the field into a three-way battle between Zohran Mamdani, the Democrat socialist, Andrew Cuomo, the Democrat with a checkered past, and Republican Curtis Sliwa, who we don't really know much about. For Cuomo, this is a gift. Without Adams splitting the moderate vote, many of those voters who are expected to drift his way, that could very much happen with Adams dropping out the race. And while I'm no fan of Andrew Cuomo, let's be honest, Mamdani would be a disaster for New York City. And the danger is New York's policies don't stay in New York. They tend to spread nationwide. You know it, I know it. So meanwhile, Mamdani has wasted no time blasting the news, but the story today is clear. Adams is out, Cuomo's breathing easier, and the race for City Hall, it really just got turned upside down, right? Upside down. And Mamdani's not too happy, about what is transpiring or what has transpired. He's not.
New York City mayoral race. Incumbent Mayor Eric Adams, who was running for re-election as an independent, has dropped out of the race. Adams will now be the first one-term New York City mayor since David Dinkins lost re-election back in 19. Joining us exclusively for his first live sit-down interview since the shakeup in the race, Zohran Mamdani, the Democratic nominee in the New York City mayoral race. Great to have you back here on the set. We got to say that we weren't expecting to have you here, so we really appreciate you making time because of the news. I'll start broadly by getting your reaction to the fact that Eric Adams, who was polling fourth, has dropped out, and what this means for the race going forward.
Look, Donald Trump and his billionaire donors may be able to determine the actions of Eric Adams and Andrew Cuomo, but they will not dictate the results of this election. This continues to be the same election as it was when we started on October 23rd, a choice that New Yorkers have between Eric Adams' record, which is Andrew Cuomo's agenda, one that has priced New Yorkers out of what is now the most expensive city in the United States of America, or our vision for a city that New Yorkers can actually afford. And I'm excited and just as confident as I was yesterday at actually delivering that vision and winning this race on November 4th.
Do you have a sense of what's behind this decision today? We've all heard that Curtis Sliwa, the Republican, claims that he's been offered large sums of money from powerful people to get out of the way. Do you think that's what's happened here?
I think we have to put this in a larger context where after we beat Andrew Cuomo by 13 points in the Democratic primary, he called Donald Trump to ask what they could do together to defeat our campaign in the general election. And Donald Trump has spoken time and again about how he wants to narrow this race, how he wants to use every tool at his disposal to try and stop this campaign for affordability. And we're seeing amidst all of that here yet again the moment where he is shaping this race, but we're going to show him that New Yorkers are tired of his politics and they're tired of being priced out of the city.
Eric Adams had a warning for New Yorkers in his parting message, and I want to play that and have you respond on the other side.
I must also sound a warning. Extremism is growing in our politics. Our children are being radicalized to hate our city and our country. Major change is welcome and necessary, but beware of those who claim the answer to destroy the very system we built together over generations. That is not change, that is chaos.
What do you make of that message? Do you feel that that's directed towards you and is not so veiled swipe at your Muslim heritage, but also your position, some of your policy positions? What's your response to that?
Well, I think that the only thing I truly find to be extreme is Eric Adams' record. This is a man who's raised the rent on more than 2 million New Yorkers by 12%, a man who slowed down already the slowest buses in the country, one who priced New Yorkers out of childcare that cost them about $25,000 a year. That's what's extreme. That's what's radical. And our vision to deliver affordability, it's common sense, and we're seeing that it's popular across the 5 boroughs.
Common sense, huh? Common sense. Let's talk about that real fast. Let's talk about common sense real fast. Let's do that. Because Mondani calls his policies common sense, but to be honest with you, they're anything but common sense. I mean, take his plan to freeze rent hikes on rent stabilized apartments. I mean, I guess in theory, it may sound nice, but rent control has never worked. Landlords can't afford upkeep. Buildings fall apart and new construction slows because developers won't build where they can't charge market rates. So what happens is, hey, less housing, worse conditions, and the prices still increase. Then, there's his free bus idea. Free buses. Sure. I mean, again, it sounds like a win for low-income New Yorkers, but the cost is $630 million a year. Mondani claims it'll bring $1.5 billion in benefits, but that's wishful thinking. In reality, service would suffer, maintenance would lag, and taxpayers, many who don't even ride the bus, would foot the bill. To pay for all of this, he wants to hike corporate tax to 11.5%. and slap a flat tax on millionaires. But New York already bleeds businesses and high earners with one of the heaviest tax burdens in the nation. They are fleeing the city. They've already lost 300 employers out there in the city. That's already happened. They've also lost, I think they said the number, I think we said it was $25 billion in tax revenue over the past 5 years or so. Do you think that this dude's plan is going to exacerbate things or make things better? I want to hear from you guys in the chat. What are your thoughts? But this guy wants to raise the tax burden on corporations and the wealthiest people in the city. He wants to raise it, and it's already one of the highest in the nation. I mean, it's crazy. And what happens is that the mass exodus of New York City, it's going to accelerate. And really, the only people that's going to remain in New York City are the people that can't afford to move. That's pretty much it. The folks that will stay in New York are the people that cannot afford to move. And even then, you may not have a choice but to move. Even if you can't afford it, you probably have to do everything that you can to get up out of there just to survive. If this dude gets in office and implements what he wants to implement. President Trump summed it up. Mondani is a self-proclaimed communist And if he wins, it is going to be a disaster for New York City, but maybe a gift to Republicans nationwide. Maybe. This is a truth from Truth Social that came out. And, this post from Truth Social, the president, he went off on Mondani, went off on him, vowing to cut federal funding to New York City if he wins, saying, remember, he needs the money from me as president to fulfill all his fake communist promises. He won't be getting any of it, though. So what's the point of voting for him? This ideology has failed always for thousands of years, and it will fail again. And that's guaranteed. Communism hasn't worked anywhere. Go check out what's going on in Venezuela right now. It hasn't worked anywhere. It hasn't worked. And Mondani, he shot back, claiming that Trump's in his stages of grief. I want you guys to see this. But the other thing here is this. I just watched the movie Tetris, right? I don't know, if you guys are familiar with Tetris at all, but I just watched the movie Tetris. And if you guys know anything, Tetris was actually created in what was formerly known as the USSR. And it was a sugar honey iced tea show to get this game released to the world. The man that created it, he couldn't reap any benefit of it because the state owned it. So the people from outside the country wanting to do business with the state, it was a mess. It was a mess. And what we know is that when you bring in communism and socialism, it actually costs more and it stifles growth, and the lives of the people get worse. And that's just a fact of history.
All right, let me read to you. Donald Trump tweeted, Truth Social, whatever the social media thing is. Self-proclaimed New York City communist Zoran Mamdani, who's running for mayor, will prove to be one of the best things ever to happen for the great Republican Party. He'll have problems with Washington like no mayor in history. So basically, he's threatening you again in the wake of Adams dropping out of the race. What's your response to that? And are you worried that New York will be in a worse position with the federal government if you become mayor?
I think that Donald Trump is going through the stages of grief. He began with denial, where he said that there was no way we could win this race and that he would use every tool at his disposal to ensure that that was the case. And we saw that in phone calls that he had with Andrew Cuomo and briefings that he had with pollsters. And now we've reached the point where he's coming to terms with the fact that we're going to win this race. And he's coming to terms with it because New Yorkers are tired of a politics here in this city that has more to do with Washington than it has to do with the people of this same city. And what we're seeing is even when you have a mayor who is collaborating to every extent possible with this administration, you are still seeing a federal policy of detaining New Yorkers as young as 6 years old, of withholding more than $50 million in funding from our schools, of taking $80 million out of a bank account. You still see an administration that looks at this city as something that is to be punished each and every day. And what this city deserves is someone who will fight for it. We know that Andrew Cuomo would be the greatest thing that could happen for Donald Trump, because he isn't simply clearing the way or looking to for Andrew Cuomo out of a sincere belief in what Cuomo will present for the people of this city. He's doing so because he knows that Andrew Cuomo will clear the way for Donald Trump's agenda. And New Yorkers are sick and tired of that agenda. They are sick and tired of what has passed for leadership from Andrew Cuomo. We are talking about some...
Hey, I personally don't think that Cuomo is the right guy. Not that I have a dog in the fight up in New York City. But if you have to choose between him and Mondani, I would assume that it has to be Cuomo, right? It has to be, right? But, I don't think the Curtis Sliwa guy, I don't think he has a chance just due to the fact that I don't think that New York City, New Yorkers up there will vote for a Republican candidate. I just don't think they'll do it at this point. And unfortunately, you have a lot of people that believe that socialism is a viable option. They believe that this can work. And maybe they need to, some people can be told, hey, fire is hot, don't touch it. Some people, hey, need to get burnt. Simple as that. Shout out to C. Cook. with the $10 super chat says, Lamentations 1, how lonely lies the city, once so full of people. She who was great among the nations has become a widow. The princess of the provinces has become a slave. Wow. Sounds like New York City. Thank you, C. Cook. Shout out to Hunter with the $20 super chat says, if Mondani wins, I guarantee you he will make New York City the second city in the country to have that Muslim prayer music be blasted 5 times a day. Yet these people say we Christians are going to violate the First Amendment. Shaking my head. Yeah. Dearborn, Michigan. This is like, goodness gracious. I watched some clips of that, and I think, Hunter, you sent something over to me. I'm looking at that. I'm just like, whoa, this is actually happening in a city in the United States of America. Sheesh. It's crazy. But the thing is, I did a reaction. There's a young man who was up in New York City, and I dropped a video. If you hadn't seen it, it's in the catalog down there. But he's in New York City, and he is, pretending that he is a Mondani supporter, and he's going around telling all these people that supported him, in the primary, hey, this is what his plans are. This is what his actual agenda is. And the folks was rejecting it. I think there are a lot of people that supported Mondani. They just didn't know what they were supporting. But with Adams out, Mondani is scrambling right now. And Andrew Cuomo is suddenly, in the position to scoop up the moderate Democrats. I think Mondani was hoping that Adams would stay, Cuomo, and it's basically a three-man race, and Eric Adams and Cuomo would basically cannibalize each other, and it would make way, for this guy to squeak out, a win in New York City. I think that's what he was hoping for. That's was the game plan up there by this guy. And now, he's like, wait, this dude dropped out? So we'll see what happens, but there are still voters in New York who don't want to see the Islamization of their city or stand in bread lines. Think the Mondani's, city-run grocery store scheme. History shows that those types of ideas end in disaster. And New York could quickly slide into a dystopian nightmare. Quickly. It would happen at a pretty rapid rate. Whatever companies that are still there, they're probably going to book it up out of there as soon as the ballot is over and they find out that this dude won. By the end of the year, a lot of companies they're going to shut down shop and get up out of there. A lot of your wealthier New Yorkers, they're probably going to sell off and get up out of there if they could even sell off. I don't even know if they'd be able to sell off. Sell off to who? Maybe there'll be some foreign investors or something that will come in and buy the city up, I guess. I don't know. But I would assume that anybody with the ability to get up out of there, if they're worth a little something, I don't see them. I don't see them staying. But the bigger picture is this. New York's Democratic Party is in chaos right now. Adams never had momentum. Cuomo remains polarizing after his time as governor, and Mondani represents a far-left socialism that even many Democrats don't trust. Yet polling shows Mondani leading by double digits, making him the favorite. He's the favorite right now. And whether that's genuine enthusiasm or just a divided opposition, I mean, honestly, it doesn't matter much. But Adams is out, and the race is completely reshaped at this point. I want you guys to look at this right here. I don't know if you had a chance to see this, but this is the New York City mayoral poll, and I want you guys to check this out, man, because when you look at it, you look at the head-to-heads and the head-to-heads they were tested, in a matchup with just Mondani and Cuomo, 47% of the support is still going to Mondani. And Cuomo only getting 40%. In a straight head-to-head matchup, Mondani still beats Cuomo by 7 percentage points, even when Adams was still included in the race. Mondani led comfortably against both Cuomo and Sliwa. Another Quinnipiac poll, and I want you guys to see this as well. Actually, I don't know if I have the Quinnipiac poll, but there's this hypothetical three-way race, that they were talking about. And, it didn't show Adams dropping out. But, if that was to happen, it didn't show that, what would happen or if the race would flip overnight. But Mondani still holds a double-digit lead. But betting markets show that his odds are slipping from nearly 90% to around 80%. So this dude legit has a legit chance to win in New York City. And maybe I'm just too far away from the microphone at this point. Hopefully that's a little better. Actually, it sounds a little better in my ears as well. But this democratic socialist individual has a chance to legitimately win in New York. He has a legit chance to win. Now, they say that Cuomo consolidates the moderates and the established Democrats. But for conservatives, this is the moment to highlight the contradictions, because Mondani claims to represent working people, yet he wants to spend hundreds of millions of dollars on free lawyers for illegal immigrants. He wants to raise taxes on strivers and push policies that punish upward mobility. That might excite wealthy progressives in Brooklyn lofts, but it does nothing for the average New Yorker trying to pay rent, trying to stay safe, and, just trying to feed their families, or trying to do everything that they can to improve their plight in New York City. I mean, we've seen this play out elsewhere, right? Chicago elected a socialist mayor, and now it's high. Businesses are fleeing the city, to include the Chicago Bears, and approval ratings have cratered. And if New Yorkers go down that road, which it's looking like they will, they're going to get the same results. Higher taxes, fewer jobs, more crime, and a city that caters to illegal immigrants while ignoring its citizens. So this race is shaping up as one of the most consequential mayoral races in modern New York history. Mondani socialism versus Cuomo's comeback bid, with Curtis Sliwa kind of complicating the mix at this point. I mean, the stakes are bigger than just the one city, though. The stakes are high. The outcome will signal whether socialism takes root in America's largest city, or whether voters finally decide that they've had enough of failed experiments. I'm not really sure, because you have a lot of quote unquote college educated people. I mean, we understand that having a college education doesn't make you intelligent. It doesn't mean that you're super smart. It really, at this point in this day and age, means that you've been indoctrinated. And you have a lot of college educated people that believe that socialism could work. It just has never been implemented properly. That's what a lot of these folks will tell you. Hey, socialism, it's good. It will work if it's implemented properly. This is where we are in 2025 America, where we have one of the largest cities in the nation on the verge of being taken over by communists. It is wild. I mean, if you'd have told people this 50 years ago, they wouldn't believe it. They wouldn't believe it. They're like, wait, the people are actually voting for this? Do y'all not recall the Cold War? There are so many people out there, and Kenneth, you're absolutely right. They are brainwashed. They have been programmed. It's not going to be good, man. It's not going to be good. But I want to move on. Hit the like button for me if you haven't done so already. Hit that like button for me. I appreciate everybody that has supported the channel via Super Chat and Super Thanks thus far. I want to make sure I didn't miss anybody. I don't think I did. All righty, cool. Don't think I have. So hit that like button. I'm not sure exactly where we are, but hit that like button. But I want to keep it moving. In other news, the NFL is taking heat for yet another bonehead decision another bonehead decision. The league, which has spent years branding itself as the most woke sports organization in America, just announced its Super Bowl halftime act. And some of you guys may ask, hey, who did they pick? Who did they pick? You know, was it Salt and Pepper? Nope. Was it Kid and Play from back in the day? Nope. You know, was it the Eagles? Nope. They chose a character. They chose someone who's openly trashed America, someone who has openly bashed and trashed the Trump administration, someone who campaigned for Kamala Harris, and someone who doesn't sing in English at this point. That's what they've done. Yeah, interesting.
Ever performing in the U.S. again. I'm scared that ICE might raid the venue outside my show. And honestly, I can't risk the safety of my fans like that. Mainland America just doesn't feel necessary to me anymore. I've already performed there plenty of times. Fans in the U.S. have had lots of chances to see me live. That being said, I still care deeply about my Latino and Puerto Rican fans living in the States. Seeing me perform in Puerto Rico is always an option. That's why in my upcoming world tour, there are no stops in the continental US. This isn't about hate, it's about responsibility and respect. I want my Latino and Boricua fans to understand that you're always in my heart. You can come see me in Puerto Rico or catch me in one of the other countries I'm visiting, but I can't, in good conscience, keep putting you at risk just to perform in the mainland US. I know for a lot of people, this feels like a sacrifice, but I want my stage to be a place of unity. My music is about love, about belonging. It's not supposed to be a reason to live in fear.
Alrighty. Yeah, we know Jay-Z picked the guy. I'm pretty much done with Jay, but I'm also pretty much done with hip hop in general. You know, as far as what's considered quote unquote mainstream, old school or whatever. But I'm not gonna lie to you, man. If they would have told me that, hey, we're doing a old school veterans of you know, hip hop or something along those lines, and you brought out you know, Kid and Play and JJ Fad and some of the, you know, older guys out there, Dougie Fresh, Biz Markie. I'm not sure if Biz Markie is still alive. But you know, guys like that, I would have no problem with that. I'd have no problem with that. You know, if you brought out, you know, an older band from you know, back in the 80s, you know, the Eagles or somebody like that, I wouldn't have an issue with that either. But this particular character, I don't know, man. I'm not familiar with the music. You know, if I'm not mistaken, I believe he might be a part of the alphabet community. I'm not really sure on that, but I'm not real familiar with this particular individual, you know, as well. But a quick rundown. So the name of this guy is Bad Bunny. I'm not really sure what a Bad Bunny is, but Bad Bunny. I wouldn't have an issue with Metallica either, RJ. I wouldn't have an issue with that. You know, I wouldn't have an issue with that either. But Bad Bunny, he is Puerto Rican. And he is an American citizen. He's an American citizen, but his entire career is built off of Spanish language rap. And he's so-called, or I think they consider him the king of Latin trap. I think that's trap music. And the NFL has decided that, you know, he should headline the most American event of the year, which would be the Super Bowl. It's the largest event that we host here in our country. The Super Bowl isn't just a football game. Honestly, it's a cultural tradition. I mean, past halftime shows has featured, you know, icons like Springsteen, who I'm not a fan of like that, Prince, who I am a fan of like that, Tom Petty. They've had Snoop. They've had Kendrick. They've had Janet Jackson. Michael Jackson. I think that might be my favorite. The best halftime show was the Michael Jackson. Oh my goodness, man. From back in the day. Oh my goodness. The Prince halftime show was phenomenal. You know, but I mean, these were, you know, artists who felt distinctly American. And now we're told that a reggaeton artist who rarely sings in English and openly criticizes the United States is supposed to represent our culture on the biggest stage. Now, I get it. I understand what the NFL is doing. The NFL is, Nanny, you know why I'm laughing about Janet Jackson. But KMG, I'm with you. Michael Jackson and Prince, in my opinion, hands down, probably the best Super Bowl halftime shows in history. If you had to rank them, they're up there, right there with each other. Goodness gracious. Goodness gracious. But I understand what the NFL is doing. The NFL is trying to go global, right? They want it to be a global sport, similar to basketball, similar to football with the U, F-U-T, similar to that. They want it to be global. I get it. And the NFL will do anything to continue to increase its profits. That is capitalism at its finest. I get that as well. But we don't have to continue to support it. I was just telling my friend, today, and I was, getting prepared for the show today, and we were texting back and forth, and I'm like, bruh, the NFL is they're disappointing me, man. They disappoint me. It's just getting more and more disappointing. And I get it. It's always about the bread. Shout out to Hunter with the $20 super chat. Says, so the National Football League for American football chose someone who is anti-America. Why would he play at halftime to represent America if he hates America? The hypocrisy in these people are insane. Well, it is the largest stage. It's going to be the largest stage, right? And there's no telling what he will do on that stage. There's no telling what will happen in that performance. I think if you do end up watching the Super Bowl, you're probably going to cut it off because it's going to be in Spanish, and most of us don't speak Spanish here. So I would assume that a lot of us aren't going to watch it. Now I don't know how many people will say, you know what, I'm just not going to watch the Super Bowl at all. I think there's been like maybe 2 years in my life that I did not watch the Super Bowl. And one of them, I was in the military and I had to work. I was on duty and I couldn't watch the game. One of the times. And the other time, I don't even remember what I was doing. I just didn't end up watching it. But there's no telling what's going to happen, but you can almost count that it's going to be some form of political messaging that is going to happen. I would, at this point now, I would bet some money on it that there would be some form of messaging, out there that would be either anti-Trump or anti-America in general. That would be my assumption. I would put some money on it. If I was a betting man, that is what I would bet on. That is what I would bet on. But again, this isn't only about language. Bad Bunny, he canceled a U.S. tour claiming that ICE might show up at his shows. He blasted immigration enforcement and made it clear that, he views this country with suspicion. And yet, this is the individual that has been chosen to represent America at America's game. Yeah, it's pretty interesting, man. It's pretty interesting stuff.
Bichos andan en esta guagua, Rafoal, andan en Rafoal. Se tiraron aquí en la Montezuela, hijos de puta, en vez de dejar a esa gente tranquila trabajando ahí.
I wish I could have got my guy Julio on there. I should have reached out to him this morning. But hey, it is what it is. But essentially, what he's saying is, look at these sons of a, So why are we rewarding this individual with the biggest platform that we have in our country? The NFL has essentially decided that, a man who won't even commit to performing in America is the right choice to headline America's most watched show. I mean, it's an international show. You guys understand that. I mean, not only is it the most watched show here in America, but it's one of the most watched shows in the world. I mean, it makes no sense to me, to be honest with you. And there's another aspect to all of this. Lately, many people have been discussing Bad Bunny's concerts, not just in the usual sense of music reviews or fan excitement. You know, I want you guys to see this, man. Seriously. The grooming that is happening is quite disturbing.
Are reporting that they felt a demonic presence when attending Bad Bunny's recent concert. Fans even started to make it into a meme by taking videos saying that the concert just feels demonic, but it became extremely dark when this song Botánico came on, where there were masked demons dancing all over him and the concert turned all red. Even the music video to this song is extremely dark. It's this monster looking thing that creeps up into this woman's room, and it actually ends up becoming Bad Bunny himself. Those who attended this concert are even advising people, if you're gonna go see Bad Bunny's concert, then schedule your bathroom breaks whenever this song comes on. And at one point, those demons that were around him, you can't really see because the concert gets really dark, but they start grabbing and pulling on him like he's being sacrificed or something. If you've seen my old videos, you know that this is no surprise because he's been showing this symbolism for quite some time now, and it was only a matter of time until this started happening in real life in concerts. You're looking at the man who had the second most streams in the world on Spotify in 2023.
Yeah. And this is the guy that was selected to perform at the Super Bowl. Now, I'm not here to police artists. I'm not. Timothy Rickner. What the heck is that? What does that mean? Could you explain that? I'm not familiar. I'm not up on all this stuff. You know, I've been out of college for, at this point now, almost 20 years. I'm not up on all of that. And again, I'm not here to police artists. When I see things like this, hey, I don't listen to it. I don't listen to mainstream artists like that in general. None whatsoever. I don't. Most of the music is demonic. Most of it. Most of the music has some form of demonic, attribute to it. Most of it. This young man, Bad Bunny, he can put out whatever message he wants to. That's his choice. We got a choice whether or not to consume it or not. We have a choice to consume it. I'm a firm believer, when people show you who they are, you should believe them. But I do have to ask, what message is the NFL sending by choosing him for the Super Bowl? In the wake of, a shooting at an ICE facility, they picked a performer who's openly blasted U.S. immigration policies and even boycotted performing over ICE fears. I mean, it's not like America lacks options. I mean, good Lord. We've got country stars, we've got rock bands, we've got, legacy pop acts, we've got legacy hip hop acts. I mean, it's not like we have a shortage of artists here, right? We got a little bit of everything. Or it could be where you could just kind of mix, a few genres. That could be done. But I mean, you have some performers out there who could deliver a halftime show that feels somewhat patriotic and unifying, that you could, right? Maybe a Springsteen, maybe a Kid Rock, something. I mean, love them or hate them, at least, at least they represent something distinctly American. I mean, instead, the NFL gives us another dose of woke globalization. That's what they gave us. Chasing diversity points instead of celebrating America's culture on the biggest stage. Hey, Hardy, I'd be okay with a marching band. Wouldn't bother me at all. And to be honest with you, more times than not, we're not watching the daggone, not watching the halftime show like that anyway. More times than not, that's the time to get some food. We're sitting there talking about the game, whatever. I couldn't tell you. I mean, not even watching, not sitting there watching the daggone halftime show like that. But Jack Posobiec, he claims that Jay-Z runs the Super Bowl selection process through his company Rock Nation, which has an exclusive contract with the NFL, which I'm sure a lot of you guys knew this already. But when I went to Google, and lo and behold, I want you guys to see this. Let me pull this back up. You know, Jay-Z, you know, he's been handpicking Super Bowl halftime lineup for a while now. And he personally broke the news to Bad Bunny himself. The NFL knows fans will still watch no matter what. They know it because everybody knows that football is king in this country, man. It's the biggest sport in the country, and it's one of the biggest sports in the world. And everybody knows that, people will watch the Super Bowl. They may ignore the halftime show, but the NFL understands that folks are going to pull up and watch it because people in America are passionate about their football. They are. And the NFL knows that there are a lot of folks out there that are still going to watch no matter what. I mean, they survived the kneeling. They survived the concussion scandals. They survived the boycotts. So, they believe that they can get away with this. They believe they can get away with it. And to an extent, I think they're right. Because there are a lot of people, well, you got maybe 45% of the nation that loves it. They love it. Melissa, you talking my talk now. The Whispers, Earth, Wind, and Fire, I love it. I would love to see that as a halftime show. Would love it. But they know there's about 40 to 45% of the country that they're going to watch it because, they're all about, the woke foolery. And they also understand that there's another, 50 to 55 or 60% of the country that just loves the game of football. Even for me, as someone that doesn't watch the NBA, I don't even watch college basketball. I don't watch Major League Baseball. I don't watch the National Hockey League. The only sports I watch is football. And they're making it very tough. Are we going to have to just get back to just watching high school sports? You know what I'm saying? Are we just got to go there and say, hey, man, we just got to go back. It ain't about the money. Let's just go back and just watch the purity of the game. High school sports. Because even the colleges, they haven't gone as far as the NFL, but they're going. They're headed in that direction. Hey, Papa died. Hey, I'm 45, but I grew up, with parents, especially my pops, on Fridays with him and his friends. Oh my goodness. I grew up listening to this type of music on the weekends. Saturday mornings, we're doing chores, man. You better believe, you had that type of music being played. Earth, Wind, and Fire, Temptations, The Whispers, The Four Tops. Oh man, what? I grew up on that, man. That was like the soundtrack to my childhood. Soundtrack of my childhood, man. Hey, Virginia, I wasn't meaning it in the sense of, in that manner, but I do understand your sentiment there. But, people love the game of football for entertainment spaces. But it's crazy. It's crazy. Oh, man. But I just don't think this was the right call, man. They think they can get away with it because they feel like that people will continue to watch it, but I don't think it was the right call. Honestly, it's probably a slap in the face to millions of Americans who would rather see their own culture. They'd rather see their own culture celebrated. The Super Bowl, it should showcase Americans, American artists, American music. And honestly, this isn't about being, anti-Latino. It's not, because I'm not. You know what I'm saying? I love my Puerto Rican brothers. Love them. It's not about that. But I don't speak Spanish. I like New Edition as well, bro. I think that would be a good one too. New Edition would be a good one. And they could split that off. New Edition, BBD. You get a little bit of Bobby. You get a little bit of Ralph Tresvant. You get a little bit of what's his name, Johnny Gill. They could do a whole show just wrapped around. Man, that's a great idea, Candace. I love that. Great idea. Be safe out on the road, B. Be safe out there. But, like I said, I mean, this isn't about being anti-Latino, because I'm not. It's about remembering, what the event represents. Yet the NFL, have passed over bands, like Metallica or Creed, or, maybe some New Editions and things of that nature, that could come in and put on a good show. And they have a catalog, enough music that everybody knows. They've passed up on it. I don't know, man. They passed up on a guy for a performer who openly criticizes the United States. I mean, Backlash has already started. It's already started. Bad Bunny is trending for all the wrong reasons. Fans are furious, and there's calls for boycotts. It's here. There are a lot of people that are saying, you know what? I'm not watching the Super Bowl. There's a lot of people that are saying I'm about done with the NFL. Now, what we do know is that the league, they're not going to reverse course. They made a decision. They're going to stick to it. This is who they are. The message is clear. The NFL isn't focused on football or fans anymore. It's focused on woke politics and global branding. It's simply about the money. And if that's the path that they're taking, hey, they deserve the backlash that's coming. They do. Thank you, Amethyst Angel, for the $5 super chat. Says, who's going to pay for the ads during halftime? That will eventually decide if BB shows up. Companies are reassessing due to brand images. Yeah, that's a good one. Follow the money, man. But we understand what it is. I mean, you think about the NFL right now. They played a game in Mexico City. They played a game in, was it Sao Paulo, Brazil, I believe? Or was it Rio de Janeiro? I can't remember, but they definitely played a game in South America. They just played a game this past weekend in Ireland. They have 2 games that are being played in England. And they're playing a game, I think 1 or 2 games in Germany this year. And word on the street is that they want to play games in China and in Japan in the near future, if they can figure out a way to make the 12-hour time difference work. Yeah. That's what I said. Dublin, Ireland. I said Ireland. It's about making money. That's what the NFL is about, man. And now the NFL players, they understand it as well. Some NFL player just over the summer put on a camp for quote unquote trans and alphabet community children. What the heck is a trans and alphabet community child? What is that? I didn't even know it existed. And why put on a camp named as that? Right? Why not just say, hey, I'm putting on a camp for kids. Whoever shows up, shows up. But this dude specifically said, I'm putting on a camp for trans and LGBTQ kids. That's what he said. So you got the players on board with this as well. Bending the knee. This is crazy. Y'all hadn't heard that? I should have covered that when it first happened. I should have covered that when it first happened. But yeah, this was over the summer. You can look it up, though. You can look it up. If I'm not mistaken, I believe it was a player from the New Orleans Saints that did it. If I'm not mistaken. If I'm not mistaken. This happened. He's just like, what are we doing? Seriously, what are we doing? Thank you, Omega, for the $2 super chat. Says the NFL been demonic since 2023, mocking Jesus. I don't recall that. I don't recall that happening. I do not recall that happening. I do appreciate the super chat, but I don't recall that happening. Can you email that link or drop that link in the chat for us? I'd like to see that. I do not recall seeing that. I know I would have saw that. Sheesh. Cool Ramon said he played football in I'm guessing that's high school and college. Yeah, let us know where you played at and what position you played. Yeah, I got to see that. I don't recall seeing that. But yeah, it's just now I do recall the Olympics. And that was a hot mess. And honestly, I don't recall watching any of the Olympics, but I typically don't watch the Olympics like that anyway, outside of track and field. There was a time when I used to watch the dream teams and stuff like that in the 90s. But again, I don't watch basketball like that anymore. I just don't think it's good. And it's just not worth watching. So I don't even watch any of that stuff. You know, the only thing that I watch from the Olympics is the track and fields, particularly the 100. And I like the men and the women, the 100, the 200, the 400, and the relays, the 4x1 and the 4x4. Outside of that, I don't really get into the Olympics like that. But I do have a question for the ladies in the chat. Why is it all of a sudden that the women in the Olympics basically have to be naked to perform in the Olympics or just in track and field in general? Why is that the case now? It seems like every time you watch any track and field event, if it's women, they basically have no clothes on. Why is that a thing now? Why is that a thing now? You literally got women with no clothes on, essentially. I don't understand where that happened, why that became a thing. I don't get it. I really don't. But maybe I just sound like the old guy. Maybe I just sound like an old guy just questioning, like, what's up with that? But I know I can't be the only one to notice it, right? The men still look regular. The men look like, the guys that performed, in track and field and in the events way back in the day. But the women, goodness gracious, they almost have stripper outfits on, essentially. Nina said, hard to run fast with a lot of clothes. No, I'm not saying that you need to have, a bunch of baggy, loose-fitting clothes on. I'm not saying that, but I mean, now the shorts are so daggone short. Holy smokes, man. You would think that, like, in most cases, back in the day, the way you see the women in track and field, that would be Skinemax. That would be, something, those types of outfits and attire would be, for what do you call that? Cinemax back in the day, when they had the Cinemax movies that would come out, they come on at 11, 12, 1 o'clock at night. You a kid, you ain't supposed to be up watching it. Omega with the $2 super chat says, it was LeBron's son wearing a jacket mocking Jesus. Oh, okay. At the Super Bowl. So he wore it at the Super Bowl. They just happened to put the video on him. Okay. I don't look at that as the NFL doing it. I just look at that as LeBron's son. But I'm not a big fan of any of those folks. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Look at Papa Die. Hey. Hey, I'll put the question right back on you. Hey, Papa Die, how do you know about Skinemax? Yeah. How do you know? Oh man, that's hilarious. You know, we found out about that the same way everybody else finds out about something. Somebody at school will tell you, like, hey, you know, if you got Cinemax, man, and you stay up late, if you stay up late, this is what you'll see. You know, kids, we teach each other. Look at Hunter with his little young whippersnapper behind. You know what I'm saying? Talking about what's Skinemax. Hey, man, if you know, you know. You know, Hunter, what year was you born in? You a youngin'. You're born in the 90s? Boy, you don't even know, man. The 80s and the 90s were phenomenal for those of us that grew up in the 80s and the 90s, man. Phenomenal. Me and my friend, we talk about it all the time. Like, man, we definitely grew up. As a kid, the best era to grow up in had to be the 80s and 90s. Had to be. Born in 99. I thought so. Yeah, you wouldn't know anything about Skinemax, bro. To be a kid in the 80s and 90s. Oh, my goodness. Oh, man. Hey, Cynthia, how you doing? Y'all make sure y'all show Cynthia some love. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. Thank you very much. Yeah. Hey, Hunter, you see, hey, he's still wet behind the ears, you know, the Similac on his breath. Little youngins. Oh, man. Who is that? Where is that at? RJ, born in 93. Okay, yeah, you're the same age as my little brother. You little youngins, I'm telling you. Hey, Lori said the 70s was the best time to be the kid. I'm gonna disagree with you on that, Lori. And the reason why, and I have another story I want to talk about, but the reason why I think the 80s and the 90s were the best years for the kids is because of the technology. I mean, you got to think, we had, you know, you started with the Atari, and then you went to Nintendo, and then you went to Sega, and then we went to Super Nintendo, and then the PlayStation came out. The video games, the gaming systems were phenomenal. The movies were better. The movies from the 80s and the 90s, the movies are phenomenal. I'm still watching movies from the 80s and 90s. The music was better. Now, I'll say, well, yeah, music overall, 80s, 90s, music was better. You could actually go outside and play. We really only played the video game on the days when it was raining or too cold to go outside. And growing up down south, there wasn't too many of those days when it was too cold to go outside. You know what I'm saying? Hey, we had the better TV shows. At that time, things were not woke. Nickelodeon was phenomenal. Phenomenal. I do agree. People were nicer. Me and my friends, man, we used to get on bikes, man, and we just be all over the place back in the day. We would ride everywhere. We'd be outside until, hey, you'd have to force us to come home. Right before, we almost had it down to a science to when those street lights was going to come on, and kids would be bolting in every direction trying to get to the house, because the punishment wasn't you got to stay, you can't go out, you got to go outside. The punishment was you can't go outside. What? I'm telling you, the 80s and 90s, if you were a kid to a high schooler, 80s and 90s, hands down, the best era to grow up in. Seriously. Everything was better. Everything about it was better. Seriously. Luke, you're absolutely right. Not going outside was like prison. Dude, I remember getting in trouble a multitude of times because I was one of those kind of kids. Shout out to LJ with the $2 super chat. Says, who still gets hype here in Mortal Kombat? Oh, I forgot about arcades. What? Do y'all remember? Man, we used to go to the arcade and just hang out. No fights, no shootings, none of that. We could go to the arcade at the mall and hang out and play games and walk the mall. Some of y'all don't know what a mall is. Too young. Mortal Kombat was it. What? Roller skating? Yep. in Atlanta, on my side of town anyway, on the east side, we had Golden Glide. Any of my folks in here, you know, in the Atlanta area, Golden Glide's still open. It's still there. I don't know if it's still like what it used to be, but man, we used to hit Golden Glide up and go skating every Friday. Golden Glide, we going skating, hitting the skating ring. Yeah, the malls are basically ghost towns nowadays. Bro, we would go skating. Man, it would be so rare that there would be a fight or something crazy like that. I mean, it would be so rare. We'd go hit, the arcade, and we would play games. I mean, it would be so rare that something crazy would pop off. It would be so rare. Man, I'm telling you, man, y'all don't know, man. 80s and 90s was lit. Seriously, as the youngins would say. 80s and 90s was lit. I did my high school years were in the 90s. You know, my kids look at me crazy because I'm talking about the 90s. They like, the 90s? C Cook with the $2 super chat says it's simple. Lust of the eyes. The 90s, oh man. The 90s, oh, wow. We used to get dressed, get really fresh just to go to the mall and walk around and buy nothing because we had no money. Oh my goodness, man. Oh my goodness. We used to get really fresh, go to the mall, walk around, buy nothing. You got enough money to hit the daggone, what do you call that? Hit the little area, you know, where you could go to the food court, get you something to eat. That was it. Thank you, Cynthia, for the $10 super chat. So I want to express my appreciation for you on addressing the main black issues. And thank you for covering Brother AD stream on some real black love and respect, man. Shout out to Anton Daniels, man. I like that brother, man. He's been doing some good work. And before I even got into this, he was somebody that, you know, that I was watching before I even, you know, jumped off into this. Yeah, the food court. Yeah. Zapphire's buy nothing and flirt. Yeah. Hey, that was the opportunity for you to meet some of the other kids, you know, and meet girls, you know, from other schools. You know, we used to go to Golden Glide, the skating rink, and you'd go hit the mall. That would be a way for you to meet some girls from some other schools. Oh, man, those were the days, man. Those were the days. Goodness gracious, man. These kids, they don't even know, man. They don't even know. They don't even know. Seriously. They don't even know. Seriously. They do not know. My kids, I just tell them all the time. I was like, y'all don't understand, man. We had it great. We had it great back in the day. Seriously. Seriously. But I want to move on to the last story, man. I appreciate you guys pulling up and hanging out with me for a little bit. Nostalgia. It was simpler times, man. The 90s, I didn't have any bills. I didn't have anybody to take care of. Just focus on me. What? Hey, I had no bills at that time. Zero. Just focused on me. How much fun can we have? But I want to switch it up, man, because we've been, you know, talking a lot of doom and gloom, you know, in the world. And that's kind of been the case for a while. But there's a story that I came across that really put a smile on my face. And I want you guys to meet this young man, this young individual by the name of Aiden Wilkins, a 9-year-old from Pennsylvania who's already enrolled in college. And I didn't stutter there. There is a 9-year-old who is already enrolled in college. In college, with dreams of becoming a brain surgeon, you know, for kids his age. I mean, phenomenal. Phenomenal.
9 years old, Aiden Wilkins is making history at a Pennsylvania college.
Every little
little thing I learned just fascinates me.
And feeling right at home as the youngest student to ever take classes at Ursinus.
I just feel like, okay, I'm in a classroom with people more than double my age.
Okay, because this class in neuroscience is helping Aiden focus on what he wants to be when he grows up.
The reason why I want to be a pediatric neurosurgeon is mainly because, well, I like helping kids around my age.
Since
this dude's 9 years old, he's more articulate than a lot of adults that I know. You know, he also sounds a lot more mature than some adults that I know. Seriously, can we keep this little young man lifted up in prayer? Seriously, he gonna need it. 9 years old. This is incredible. Already in college. And not just any college. Not just any college, though. You know, and he's not studying just any subject. I mean, this young man is studying neuroscience. Aiden Wilkins, a history-making prodigy, you know, with a passion to become a pediatric neurosurgeon so that he can help kids his own age with neural disabilities. I mean, and what stands out is his mindset. Every little thing, you know, I learn, it fascinates me. You know, and that's the heart of a true scholar. Someone who sees learning as an adventure, not a burden. Imagine it. A 9-year-old sitting in class with students twice his age and feeling right at home. Since age 3, Aiden has been obsessed with anatomy, especially the brain. His mom, Veronica, recognized his gift early, and the rest is history. It's history in the making, actually. I mean, this young man has a big future ahead of him. Big future ahead for this little guy. Now, I want you guys to take a closer look at the journey here. You guys got to see this, man. Unbelievable. Unbelievable, youngin'.
3, Aiden loved watching anatomy videos.
I was always fascinated when I saw, like, the brain.
Aiden's mom says his genius was evident when he was still in diapers.
He was reading signs and correcting people's sentences, and he was actually correct.
He was promoted to high school at 7 when most kids his age go into the 2nd grade. Now at 9, Aiden is in college 3 days a week and has virtual classes as a sophomore in high school. Part of Aiden's gift is his love of things other kids his age also enjoy.
I mainly like to play video games.
But more than anything, Aiden loves learning.
I'm going to go straight to med school and kind of just see how I do.
One gifted child who may be a gift to all of us. Rahima Ellis, NBC News.
Wow. 9 years old. Do you guys hear how articulate that young man is? 9 years old. I mean, Aiden, this youngin' is not just a prodigy. I mean, he's still a 9-year-old kid who loves basic things. So he's not, you know, a genius, but, you know, he doesn't come across as like that awkward genius type individual. You know, when you think about someone, you know, who would be on that level, had the IQ of a genius, you would think typically someone that may be on the awkward side of things. He doesn't come across that way. He doesn't come across that way. You know, and credit where it's due. Seriously. I mean, his mom said that she saw the genius early, didn't dismiss it as a phase, and built the environment where he could thrive. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what you would call parenting. There are so many people out there that are having kids, but they're not parenting their children. Seriously. So many people out there having children, not parenting their kids. What this young lady did is what I would call real parenting, not forcing kids into a mold, but recognizing their gifts and giving them the tools to succeed. And here's what makes the story so powerful. You know, in a world obsessed with negativity and culture wars, here's the proof that greatness knows no limits. With the right support, the right mindset, and the right curiosity, anything is possible. I mean, his story cuts straight through the noise, and it reminds us that achievement isn't about race, politics, or circumstances. It's about drive, discipline, and nurture. And the lesson is this: every child has potential. The question is whether we as parents, communities, and society are willing to cultivate it. We live in a society now that where everybody's looking for the easy way. They're looking for the microwave way. There is no microwave to success. There isn't. There just isn't. But I wanted to bring you guys a more of a feel-good story. A feel-good story because that made me feel good. It made me smile to see this. And just to see, one, how happy, and bright-eyed this young man is. But also, just to see, like, man, this guy, this young man is this little boy, essentially, is super articulate. Super articulate, man. It just gives me hope, man. It really does when I see stuff like this, man. So I wanted to share that with you guys today. But I appreciate you all pulling up this morning, man. Appreciate you all pulling up this morning. Thank you guys so much for, being you and doing what you guys do on a day-to-day basis. Shout out to all my blues. I appreciate you guys supporting me and supporting what we're doing over here. Keeping things peaceful in the chat. Shout out to all my ARP family members. Thank you to everyone that supported the channel financially this morning. I really, really appreciate it. I do not take it for granted at all. God bless you all. Enjoy this Tuesday. Let's not look forward to Wednesday, with it being hump day, middle of the week. Enjoy today. Enjoy today. We'll worry about tomorrow. All right. I appreciate you guys, man. God bless you all. Keep God first. Stay prayed up. We'll catch up with you all next time. Y'all take care, man. Peace.
We won't stop. I won't quit. Stand for the truth. No counterfeit. Real ones rise. Let the fake ones split. Repent for the lies. Let the darkness live.